When it came to clearing Video's name, however, that was where the plot became jumbled. Hello, welcome to another book review. I'm your host, Kristen, and today I will be reviewing the YA fantasy book, Strong Hearts Are Mandatory, Straight to Video, by Tila Patili. Content warnings are animal injury/death, horror imagery, and fire. I will start with the overall plot, then writing, world building, and finding the characters. Also, this will be spoiler free until between these timestamps, so if you want to avoid spoilers, I recommend skipping over that section. Now that those notes are out of the way, let's begin! According to the back of the book, in further adventures within the borders of media, Video has found herself hunted by the one she trusted most. Running on limited time due to a false accusation, Video has to find the answers that will bring her enemies to justice, teaming up with some of the most powerful influences of media's subjects to succeed. Growing up with the idea that sorcery is sinister, Video works against the last remaining mage after the overthrow of magic. When the whole land is against her, she's left confused on who to count on. Who will use her actions against her, knowing the real story of media's recent past, and who will show what's real when it comes to the truth behind magic. Video takes Film, one of the highest ranked surveillance directors in media, as her travel companion to get answers. The two work as a unit on the mission to clear Video's name, but even with Film's assistance, Video is also driven by her last assignment. She seeks help from her family to take down the mage that framed her, determined to save media from its clutches. Overall, the plot started off exciting, but slowly slipped into being unfocused and confusing. The beginning with the trial was thrilling, especially with how the jester disguised himself as the judge in order to rig the outcome. It was extremely tense when he sentenced Video to death and she had to escape the courtroom to go on the run. When it came to clearing Video's name, however, that was where the plot became jumbled. Film told her that he was going to look through the archives. After Film was gone, however, Video didn't help on her own case. It was not until the jester told her about a golden opportunity that Video finally went on a mission. However, after succeeding in the task, Video sat around at home again for a majority of the book, having no clear way to get Video's name restored, along with her spending chunks of the story inside her house, honestly made this book drag. To me, it would have made more sense for Video to get a mission to focus on, such as sneaking around Clouder City, even after Film told her not to. Then, after the footage was destroyed thanks to the mage, Video would discover that Rede was alive and have to endure brutal trials in the labyrinth. That way, the tension and stakes would have kept building throughout the story, along with a clear progression of events for the reader to follow. All issues aside, the ending fight between the Jester and Signal was vicious. It was fun to watch the battle, especially as Signal had defeated mages before. There was also a major twist involving the Jester that was fantastic and made me want to learn even more about his character. For the writing, not a whole lot changed. The descriptions were a bit better in terms of incorporating the five senses, but my gripes from the first book still remained mostly the same. In terms of world building, there were definitely some interesting details. I liked how it was revealed that all the characters had different names at birth, but have been renamed after technology when they came of age. Furthermore, revival for mages via magic was discussed. This made me wonder even more how those with technology had won when the mages could have essentially be brought back to life. Finally, it was nice to see more of the monitor work through film and more details about courier work through video. In this book, video was the main focus. I must admit, I did grow to like her more than radio over the course of the book, especially since video had more agency throughout the story. I also found it fun that video had a grumpy and serious personality and how that colored her interactions with other characters. That said, I do wish that video had a clearer character arc in this book. Though she did regret killing Radio, Video's apology to the noble was half-hearted and did partially blame Radio. To me, it would have made more sense for Video's arc in this book to be learning to negotiate instead of attacking first and asking questions later. This would be especially fitting since her killing Radio instead of hearing the young noble out was what got Video into that mess in the first place.
All that aside, I won't complain too much since this is only the second book in a 6-book series. Video could very well only be at the beginning stages of her full arc. Despite being a high-ranking monitor, Film was incredibly sweet. I adored his interactions with Video and how much Film was trying to help. Video being constantly annoyed with Film for him just existing was somehow funny to me and kept me entertained. I did wish that more of Film's motive for risking his job to help Video was explained though. Film's reasons, besides admiring Video's loyalty to media, were never really fully uncovered, which did make me suspicious of him for a while. That said, I'm sure more of his logic will be presented in future books. Oh boy, let's talk about Stereo and why I found him controversial later in the novel. His relationship and subsequent rivalry with Video started out fine, which made for an interesting bit of family drama. I do wish the relationship they had beforehand was explored more, but it was still fun. Not to mention that Tila herself has confirmed that Stereo is pansexual, which is a nice bit of representation. However, my problem with Stereo came after both he and the mage burned a city to the ground. Though Video did confront her brother about it, along with asking why he hated her, the issue felt brushed aside too quickly. After Video and Stereo figured out a misunderstanding, the incident wasn't brought up much again. The most Stereo received as a consequence was his family being mad at him, but accepting him back anyway. Personally, this got under my skin. From the population size in the city, I'm pretty sure at least a couple of cats would have died in the fire. Even if there were no casualties, however, many citizens lost everything they owned and were rendered homeless. Stereo not being rejected by his parents for such a crime, and one that he committed willingly because he was family, left a bitter taste in my mouth. This time, Radio was my least favorite of the original trio. Her being alive and learning about the Jester's backstory was nice, but Radio didn't do much in the book agency-wise. She sat around and seemed more like a prop the characters had to drag around in order to get the upper hand. Furthermore, I don't know how to feel about it being confirmed that her and Stereo were more than friends, despite being very distantly related. On one hand, Video's mother did tell Video that it was different for nobles and that the bloodline split at least several generations ago. Not to mention that Stereo had no idea that he and Radio were distant cousins. On the other hand, Radio did know about the relationship between the two families, so it was super awkward. My gripes aside, Radio did sneak around in Signal's office, which indicated a hint of agency. Radio was also mad at Video and seemed to be holding a grudge, which had promise for development later down the line. Hopefully, Radio will have a bigger impact in the next story. At first, I rather liked Audio and Signal, Video's parents, and found them to be interesting characters. Audio was kind and the more soft-spoken of the couple. I liked that she was an herbalist and gave off plenty of mom vibes. As for Signal, he was the more gruff and demanding one. I thought it was nice how he was dedicated to his work though. Also him and Radio clashing did add some nice tension to the household. However, they did rub me the wrong way towards the end of the novel, especially Signal. Audio, as mentioned in Radio's section, for trying to justify Stereo and Radio's relationship, along with pleading to Video not to hurt Stereo after the fire he purposely caused. For Signal, he wouldn't help Video, his own daughter, unless given the proper paperwork to do so. This painted him in a negative light, in my eyes, since he knew how dangerous mages could be, considering he was blinded by one. Credit where credit is due, however, both Audio and Radio were furious at Signal for not wanting to help his child. They both busted their tails to get the right paperwork, and Audio chewed out her husband, which was quite satisfying. Plus, Signal was meant to be portrayed as not the best cat, and this was merely one of his more obvious flaws. For the mage, whose name the reader learned was Curiosity, he was okay, but his actions were baffling in this book. This was because Curiosity kept flip-flopping between wanting to kill Video and wanting to help her. It made the mage feel like less of a threat this time around. Although Curiosity's actions we later explained, which I'll get into in the spoiler section, and he claimed he was trying to be better, some of his actions still didn't line up with his overall goal. For instance, when he was disguised as the judge, Curiosity sent the guards to track Video down, and the mage threatened the henchmen if they didn't finish the execution. However, if Curiosity wanted to get Video on his side in the end, and had already turned most citizens against her via the trial, why send more animals to kill Video? Also, why was he planning to get revenge on Video if that wasn't his real overall goal? All that said, I still enjoyed Curiosity as a character. The way he was able to manipulate others and posed as high-ranking officials was terrifying. I also found the info he revealed in the prologue fascinating, as it added plenty of depth to his character. Alright, now onto the spoilers. I'll count to 3 seconds if you want to keep this book spoiler-free. 1, 2, 3. And here we go! First of all, I liked the twists at the end. One of the biggest ones was that besides Radio being alive, she was pregnant with both Pictures and Stereo's kittens. Again, I was not sure how to feel about this situation overall, but it was nice that Radio decided to step up and take care of her new family. The second, more large reveal was that Video's early memories had been erased by Curiosity, and that the two had once been friends when Video was younger. I do wish that part with the missing memories would have been shown more, as it felt quite emotionless when Video realized why she felt so out of the loop. However, the situation overall was rather intriguing since Curiosity explained that by hopefully making everyone in Video's life hate her, that Video might want to be friends with the mage again. It really showed just how manipulative and childish Curiosity was, along with his utter lack of regard for anyone but himself. Plus, seeing Video also being beaten by the mage to the point of surrendering was honestly disheartening. Finally, the biggest twist of all involved Curiosity. Not only was his primate form an imitation of his late apprentice, but Curiosity had also been the first mage Signal had defeated called Phantascope. Signal, who had fire magic, defeated Phantascope, but since the mage was immortal, he could never really be destroyed. It was a great spin on things, and I felt like that was fantastic. Overall, I give this book 3 stars. Although the main character did have more agency, the book felt directionless most of the time. However, all the twists were great and only needed to add some foreshadowing. I did enjoy how fleshed out the world and characters are becoming, and can't wait to dive into book 3. I hope Tila will keep improving her craft, and wish her the best of luck on her writing journey.